So we bought the house in late 2019, which was 4.5, 5 years ago. And the previous occupant was an elderly gent. The garden wasn't really maintained, but it was bushes down both sides, overgrown leylandii along the bottom. The older greenhouse was there with a grapevine in it, but there wasn't really much else. So what I really wanted to do, because I had just retired, I thought, find time to get my first big garden. I want it to be colourful, I want it to be productive, so I want veg patch, bigger greenhouse, that kind of thing. So we set about, and the first thing we did was we took the leylandii down at the back and put the fence up. That actually got us best part of 2.5 metres of extra garden. The garden's getting bigger every time I take something down. Because the garden's south facing, that bit's essentially north facing, so that was always going to be somewhere cool, somewhere to sit. Not a lot of flowers, mostly leaf colour, early stuff, that kind of year, more kind of woodland feel. We then took the bushes out down this side, only to discover that the soil was really, really poor, and it was like gravel. We tried for a couple of years to grow bits and pieces in it. Things would flower as long as they were fed, but constantly watered. Any kind of dry period, we just constantly had to add water. So I knew I needed to do something. Now, if you go to the supermarkets now and look at the cost of a bag of compost, it's scary stuff. So I came across Caledonian, looked at the green goodness, and I thought, absolutely perfect. Sounds great, recycled product, free delivery, for more than 2 bags. So last year I put about 4 inches of that down, right down the entire border, and then replanted on top of it. And as you can see now, we haven't watered that at all this year. So that's clearly doing what I need it to do. Down at the bottom of the garden, again, with all the trees and it being the south facing side, that tended to get quite dry. So down there, I put the mulch down, and that's primarily ferns, shrubs, that kind of thing. So you do get some colour down there, but not a lot. That's more leaf colour, leaf texture, that kind of thing. I tried to put a couple of fruit trees in the garden. Some of them work, some of them don't, but they're very, very difficult to mow around, hence the wildflower garden. So, I mean, this is great for us because obviously you can get all kinds of bees. We've had crickets in it, and it also means I only have to do half the mowing. And I also then put in the greenhouse where I grow lots and lots of stuff. What I've tried doing this year is that because I had put some kelpie up round about the top to feed some of the rest of the garden, I've actually tried putting some of that in with the compost for my tomatoes. Mixed results this year. That might not be down to the kelpie, that's probably more down to the weather because it has been very, very hit and miss. Even this border now should be in more colour this time of year. Obviously kept a bit of lawn. My sister's grandkids come run about, so not everything's going to be wildflowers and all the rest of it. Down the other side, I've taken out all of the bushes that were down there, and that's now the productive side. That's the veggie patch. Now, things are growing well in there. They do occasionally need watered, but in the winter time that becomes very, very heavy. So the plan for this year is to give the same green goodness treatment to that side of things. Hopefully that's going to open things up. It's going to allow moisture retention, and it's going to be better for when I sow seeds. Sometimes they don't come because there's no contact. Round about the rest of the garden, I'm not getting any younger. So my future plans really are to, although there's a lot of annuals in this year because this is the first year the flower bed's been done, I'm bringing on more and more perennials and small shrubs and that kind of thing. Still want to keep it, if at all possible, single flowered for the pollinators and that kind of thing. Yes, it's my garden. I've got the name on the title deeds, but there's birds come in, there's pollinators come in, everything else comes in. So as long as they're not annoying me too much, I'm quite happy to work it that way around.